If there was a car
Step
or a
on
vehicle I had during a zombie apocalypse, I think the Rivera would be the last one I would pick.
Cybertruck is top of the list.
No,
Cybertruck
not
is
that either.
probably the top of the list. It is the top of the list, yeah.
You'd pick an EV in a zombie apocalypse. What if the electricity's out? You have a better chance of finding gas reserves.
But people always say that gas pumps run on electricity, so if electricity's out, you're doomed anyway.
Yeah, well, I would siphon it with my mouth.
You can siphon electricity with your mouth.
If you try hard enough. Hey, what is up, people of the internet? Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Marques.
And I'm Andrew.
And so I'm back. David's out this time.
Yes, we're ring around the rosy.
Well, that just means we'll just have to
just
complete the cycle at some point. But we got a whole bunch to talk about. We've got some Final Cut Pro updates, some new... Oh, a new RAM pickup. I didn't even know about that. That's on the list.
It's an interesting twist on its electrification also.
Okay, I'm interested. We also want to talk about a new Sony camera that has a literal boost button and makes the craziest sound effects because of this boost button. You'll see what we mean. But first of all, I just want to say, if you didn't hear at the end of the last week's episode where I chimed in on FaceTime, I do want to issue an apology, a correction. For 2 weeks ago now at this point, when I mentioned that I didn't think the Nissan GTR was a track car, I was wrong. Whoops. Very wrong. It's clearly, I was well educated on the history of the Nissan GTR and how it was actually a really impressive track car. It set like production records at the Nürburgring. It has this whole rich history of many different versions of the GTR that were awesome on a track. So my perception of the GTR was totally wrong at the time. So if you went off into your life after listening to that episode thinking that the GTR was not a track car, I'm here at the beginning here to tell you people will be very mad at you for thinking that. So now you know the GTR, nice little track heritage, well played Nissan. Also want to shout out real quick, the Decoder podcast, Nilay had on President Obama, and he had a lot to say about AI. They talked about AI regulation, the new tech waves coming up. There's sort of like the wave of social media and then the wave of AI being some of the most disruptive technologies ever. And really, really insightful questions and answers. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I think Nilay did a good job at asking a bunch of questions and referencing, like you said, regulations based on social media and how it didn't really do very well. So how do they adapt to make sure that, obviously, former President Obama isn't the one in there doing stuff like that, but he's working towards different things and still has organizations moving forward with it. It was really, really good. Last week, David and I briefly just mentioned the bill that got passed or the executive order that got passed about AI, but it was very vague because we didn't know much. And if you want way more information about that and AI regulations in general, that Decoder episode is great.
Yeah, it has a lot of well fleshed out thoughts that I have not even been able to like fully put into words yet, and just listening to him like sit through and think through them in real time is great. So we'll link it below.
One other thing, remember a few weeks ago we were talking about would you take a driverless taxi?
Yeah.
Well, David did. He's in San Francisco right now, and
He said he would, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He made a studio short on it. So if you want to see his experience, maybe he made it out alive, maybe he didn't.
You'll never believe what happened.
There's a reason he's not here.
That's why he's not here. But it's on the studio channel if you want to go see it.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, we did get some new Macs. So we should talk about the new Apple announcement and the Macs that we got out of it. I mean, I'm sure you guys talked about a lot of that stuff. I just kind of have now, we have them in-house, and we want to sort of give a little bit more of my reactions to it, specifically M3, M3 Pro, M3 Max stuff. We have it in person now, the space black MacBook Pro. And it's gray, is basically what I wanted to say. It's gray. I canceled my order.
Really?
I canceled my order. I had ordered a maxed out 16-inch M3 Max space black MacBook Pro. And then we got our review unit here.
I was flexing because it's such a Chad computer.
It is a serious computer. I had $7,000 committed, ready to go on this computer. We got a review unit, which is also a maxed out matte black 16-inch space black MacBook Pro. And don't get me wrong, it's an incredible computer, very impressive, very capable, nice GPU improvements. By the time this podcast episode is out, hopefully the full review is also live and you can see everything I think about it. But basically the two new things with the computer are the new chip and the new color. And I was thinking, the new chip by itself might not really be enough of a reason for me to upgrade. And the new color by itself, super cool, but not really enough of a reason for me to upgrade. But maybe combined, they will add up to a computer that I really want.
I like how the performance and color are the things that might combine together. Yeah,
it's the only things that
no,
are new.
You're right. You're right.
So I stacked those on top of each other. I was like, all right, new color, new performance. This will be worth the upgrade for me. And then we got it in hand, and the performance, it's better, but in a lot of the same reasons we've been talking about before, like the quantum leap was from the Intel MacBook Pros to the Apple Silicon ones. Mm-hmm. This is a small bump from the M2 family and a decent bump from the M1 family.
Wait, okay, yeah, you're using an M1 currently,
This right here is my M1 Max MacBook Pro.
I can't believe there's a day that I'm working with you and you are 2 generations behind on something with computing power.
And it's totally fine. And it's a really good computer. Again, because I edit most stuff on the desktop.
Yes.
And when I do take a video on the go, like when I edited the impressions video on this laptop, it handled it super well. Mm-hmm. So I don't need the upgrade. If I was doing like full on projects, maybe I'd think about it. But the other thing is the color is not that different either. It's just enough darker gray that I notice that it's not space gray, but it's definitely not black. Like your laptop is black.
Mm-hmm. Do you want this one?
That one has a lot more fingerprints on it, and I will give Apple credit. I think they realized like they couldn't get any darker than that without starting to take on the risk.
Midnight?
Midnight was just remember jet black?
The iPhone?
Yeah, iPhone 7, I think it was, had a jet black, which is glossy pitch black. That thing looked amazing out the box and then immediately got covered in fingerprints.
I would argue not even amazing out the box. Amazing as the box has like a 1/4 of an inch open and then the minute it's open.
So I think I realized that stacking the new performance and the new camera still wasn't enough to justify that upgrade for me, so I canceled it.
Wow.
There you have it. You heard it here first.
So it sucks.
No. I mean, I'm sure someone would love to write the headline like MKBHD cancels an order. It's just I have a great laptop.
It was me.
Here.
I just wrote that headline.
The article's out already. No, I think it was good. So I'm going to keep using this one. It's been a great laptop for me. My battery life, maybe. I think people were asking for like my long-term review of this laptop. So far, it's like the only thing that's maybe dipped a little bit is battery life. Mm-hmm. And I think I expected that out of M1 Max. Other than that, it's been great.
Yeah, I think David and I were trying to debate on if we thought you would upgrade, and I think both of us thought you would do the jump because you skipped one already.
I would have agreed with you as I placed the order, because I did place the order. I did place the order, but it did not ship and I canceled it.
I mean, I think that's so many people listening right now. If Marques is still using M1 MacBook Pro, it's a real shame you can't really get them anymore, right? You have to get like a refurbished version.
Yeah, that doesn't mean go buy the M1 Max right now. Because it might not be priced correctly. I haven't even looked up how much it would cost.
I think you can get it. I was talking to a friend the other day about that, and he specifically wanted a MacBook Pro, and I was trying to convince him to get an Air, and I was like, well, maybe you can find an M1 MacBook Pro somewhere, but we could only find some like refurbished versions on Best Buy. We didn't look that long and that hard, but I could not find one.
I don't know that the price difference going down to the M1 would be that great. Like I feel like these hold their value pretty well. Mm-hmm. So a refurbished M1 is probably almost as expensive as the M3. So I would just get the M2 or the M3, and that's fine if I didn't have this already. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Wow. All right.
Couple Final Cut Pro updates.
Yeah, I had this in here because you posted it. At first I read it as just iPad Final Cut stuff, but it looks like it's for Mac and for iPad. But you were excited, Mariah's excited, Adam's excited.
I'm just excited.
I don't use Final Cut, so I'm interested in what the new things are.
I was excited when anything got improved with Final Cut for the iPad because it's Final Cut for the iPad.
That's
I was hoping they would do more, but it wasn't.
So that keeps being my question is like we wanted Final Cut for iPad for so long. It came out. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone in the studio really used it. Maybe tried it for a very short amount of time. We keep seeing that. Adam said he wants to try and edit an episode of the podcast on the iPad, but is this another update that's going to happen and I'm just not going to hear? And then next time it comes out, you guys post in Slack, and then I'm like, oh, cool. Are we going to do anything?
No, it's like it added some useful new features, better timeline tools, and that's great. But I still use so many plugins that I can't really do a full edit on the iPad because it doesn't support the plugin.
Have you done a autofocus edit on the iPad?
No, that would work though.
That would be a cool video.
But an
potentially.
autofocus edit is actually so simple, I don't even need Final Cut. Like I could do it in iMovie.
Weird flex, but
So
okay.
it's like Final Cut is like it's like a weird in between.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it would work great.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But in the new updates, was there any like one thing for Mac or for iPad that you were specifically excited about? You literally said "yo" when it came out.
Because I
There's
said
gotta
go
be-
to the headline and I saw that there was an update for Final Cut for iPad. So I was very excited about the prospect of a powerful new update, which is like how they phrased it. And then I opened it and that energy was not matched.
Okay, so before the Slack message, you needed the like Twitter thing that's like, "Are you sure you don't want to read this article
Yeah.
before you post
Like if
this?"
I'd quote tweeted that and just been like, yo, I would have been very disappointed.
Okay,
Yeah, it was a pretty minor update.
that's funny. All right, next in here, I have the Ram 1500. I have it in quotes EV. You said you haven't heard about it. It's really interesting, I think.
Whoa. We're not going to talk about 32-bit float point recording coming to Logic Pro.
So the new Ram EV,
Exactly the reaction America needs.
okay, so this new pickup truck, it is not a full-blown EV. It is essentially do you remember the Chevy Volt did this previously, but also I'm pretty sure the Karma Rivero did something where it has a battery pack, it has electric motors. This has 145 miles of electric range that you can completely use, but also has a gas tank and then a 3.6 liter V6 engine that can use the gas to then send power generation back into the electric system of the truck. And then with both of them together fully, you can get 690 miles of range.
So it's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid with all the benefits of an EV because you're using EV motors. So you have like the 0 to 60, you've got better torque.
I mean, yes.
Better instant torque, I should say.
So I guess the question is, with any hybrid, the question is, are the motors powerful enough to like really be all the benefits of an EV? Like the
What do you
Prius, like the Prius is this exact
No, but this is different because this is the drivetrain is only electric motors.
Oh, it does not connect the
that's what.
engine.
Like the Karma Rivero,
Karma,
I'm
I see.
almost positive. It's really hard to find information on the Karma Rivero because now Karma's a new company that's a little different and there's not a ton of information on the older one. But that was a battery with electric motors, and then there was also a combustion engine, but it was not sending power to the wheels, I believe.
Okay.
Maybe not the Karma. That's what this does. It's essentially continuing the charging of the batteries and letting you use electricity.
So it's an electric car that also has a gas generator inside that you can use to fill the battery.
It has an engine that sends generation power into the electric drivetrain. So I think it's cool because in the pickup truck world specifically, I think there's, first of all, like when the Volt did it, it only had 50 miles of EV range. This has 145 miles of EV range that you can do just plugging it in, which should be for most people plenty for your everyday commute. But when you have a truck and you're towing and you're probably going to lose quite a bit of that range in just pure electricity, having the backup tank of 690 miles, which is probably less towing a high payload. I think the ability to, if once a month you're towing something, maybe like a boat far away to a lake or something, I think it sounds like an interesting in between.
That's fascinating. It's a fascinating solution. Yeah. I think when you like ask people what they think of EVs, I think a lot of people's most question is like, so what happens when you run out of electricity? Or what happens, how, there's no gas tank? What do you mean there's no gas tank? So this is kind of the, like, it's almost the thing that they would describe without knowing that they're describing it. They're like, what if I could just like have a backup gas tank?
Yeah.
And that would replenish my battery.
Yeah. And I think for a pickup truck, it makes the most sense in here because those are the things that maybe do take them on longer than 145 mile trips. Or like I said, when you're towing or have a high payload, you start losing range pretty quickly. So having that to be able to just like complete those longer trips. If you're still somebody who's towing a huge payload all of the time and or need a towing capacity higher than this, I think it's 14,000 pounds.
Nice.
A gas is still going to be your better option.
Yeah.
But this feels like a better in between now for, I want a pickup truck for some reason as my daily driver, which is way too big in my opinion. But anyways, if you still want that, but then maybe you're towing your heavy boat somewhere every once in a while, like
Yeah, we've seen the Nocta range that a lot of EVs get when towing. Like Zach Jerry Rig Everything's video is a great example. He did a Rivian tow test, and basically towing crushes your battery. You're using way more torque, way more constant power. So this pickup truck is a pretty ideal type of vehicle to get this sort of treatment, where like a normal SUV might not actually benefit that much from.
Yeah, and most likely 90% of the time you're only using the EV battery here that you can plug in every night, wake up to a whole 145 miles of range, and then on the weekend it has the gas. The gas is just sitting there in case something happens, and then you're good to go.
Knock yourself out.
I think it's pretty cool.
Question.
Sure.
So basically, it just has a generator to like replenish the battery, right?
That's the best. I think that's the correct way to think about it.
I think that's the easiest way to put it. I'm sure there's something more complicated in there, but like...
so if the power in my house goes out, can I use it as a generator?
I don't know if you're saying so like
kind of how the F-150 Lightning, you could just plug into it, and
I don't know if it has the ability to push the power out.
Yeah.
It would be really cool to be able to have your whatever kilowatt hour battery that can do that, plus turn the car on and the gas and continue to power that. But
yeah,
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Feature request. Ram, if you're listening.
Make sure you open your garage when you do that.
Yes.
Because with the F-150 Lightning, you don't have to.
You're very right.
You know, it's a little different.
Newbie question here.
Yeah.
It is Ram, right? Is the company?
Ram is
It's not a Dodge Ram anymore.
That's what I made that mistake a couple weeks ago on the pod, I think. I thought
I made that mistake like a year ago.
Yeah, we thought it was Dodge Ram.
Funny enough, out of all, like, listen, we got stuff about we're tech people who enjoy cars. I think that's very obvious. When I said it like a year ago, I have to say the Ram people were the nicest people in correcting me. So many people were like, it hasn't been named Dodge in years. It's just been its own company, but like, just letting you know. Very nice. Like, I know it used to be that. I know it's just Ram now, though. It wasn't like jumped down my throat like the majority of the mistakes that I make.
It was 2010, okay? You have an excuse for missing 13 years of pickup trucks.
I will say the logo is still that like bighorn thing.
It's what it was when it was the Dodge Ram.
Right.
Oh, man. I don't want to go any further into this because the potential of me making a mistake is through the roof right now. Marques is just trying to direct the vehicle hate to me
what
this
do you think
episode.
about the GTR? Talk about the GTR.
I liked the GTR.
Oh.
Weirdly.
On like the road or like a tracker?
I think it looks good. I like how it looks.
Little mid-episode mini trivia. I've got a study here in front of me.
A study?
A study.
Whoops.
I've got a study here in front of me. What percentage, and this is by Strategic Vision, a auto research firm, what percentage of Ford F-150 owners rarely or never tow anything?
I heard this from Ford.
Dude, the Ford guy told us this. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was so much higher than you expect.
Incredibly high. It's
never
got to be over 90.
I think it's like over 80.
Rarely, or
I think it might be over 90 though.
I think it's probably over half never, and then I think rarely would include most of the rest of owners. I think it's 90.
Here's the people who would answer that. Are they answering a survey?
Yes, this is self-reported.
People, if you tow it all, I would assume would never say rarely. They want to
self-reported would be a bunch of people who do towing, so maybe it's higher.
It's
or
63%.
Never or rarely?
Never or rarely. But what's even crazier is that 52% of F-150 owners use them as a daily commuter.
No, it's true.
Anyway, this is all to say that while in our brains towing might be important for a truck,
and another thing on that though is a lot of people who tow and are towing a lot will go for a 250 or 3, like they'll an upgraded truck,
or a cyber truck.
Yes, that's the towing dream.
Yeah,
all those real cyber trucks out there
coming soon.
Wait, okay, my favorite track car news of the week. I tweeted this. The Rimac Navara set a new Guinness World Record. You know how they set like the fastest 0 to 60 of a production car, the fastest 0 to 100, the fastest 0 to 200. They had all these acceleration records in a straight line. They set another straight line acceleration record that I guess they maybe forgot to think of the first time.
Oh.
It's the top speed record. Backwards.
Oh.
It's the fastest production car ever backwards. with a top speed of 171 miles per hour in a straight line backwards. And I need you to I don't even need you to picture this. I actually will put a link below where you can watch them blast this car backwards at 170 miles an hour in a straight line, and it is one of the most entertaining. I don't know why
you were watching it for like half an hour.
It's such a funny video, dude, because they have the same exact shoot type where they're like action shots of, and it's just this car. You just picture the guy like driving like this.
Didn't
like
you
backwards.
say they originally posted it in reverse, which made everything look like it was going forwards, and then they said, "Gotcha,
Yeah,
this
they
is all
started-
reverse."
They opened with this montage of the car going really fast in a straight line, and they were like, all of those shots were played backwards because this car is hauling backwards at 170 miles an hour. Is this useful? No, it's not. Is this practical? Is this ever going to be a reason anyone buys a car? No. I'm trying to remember what car I reviewed on Autofocus that was the fastest reversing car I've ever tested, and I accidentally discovered that. It was within
I'm
the
just
last couple
imagining
weeks
me backing down my driveway.
at 50 miles an hour.
I'm just saying this would be very useful in every zombie apocalypse movie where they're all going backwards incredibly fast.
Seems like
Where they hit a dead end and they need to.
Exactly.
Yeah, just
We
hop
gotta
in
get outta here.
your $3 million hypercar and
If there was a car
Step
or a
on
vehicle I had during a zombie apocalypse, I think the Rivera would be the last one I would pick.
Cybertruck is
Rimac.
top of the list.
No,
Cybertruck
not
is
that either.
probably the top of the list. It is the top of the list, yeah.
You'd pick an EV in a zombie apocalypse. What if the electricity's out? You have a better chance of finding gas reserves.
But people always say that gas pumps run on electricity? So if electricity's out, you're doomed anyway.
Yeah, well, I would siphon it with my mouth.
You can siphon electricity with your mouth.
If you try hard enough. We should take a quick break. We're going
We
off the
should.
rails.
We should.
But before we do, we should of course do trivia.
Trivia.
I would use the Moto Compacto as my zombie apocalypse vehicle.
That's a great option.
What is that?
So, in honor of David not being here, these are both questions that David would probably get if he was here.
Oh, that's
You
fine.
guys, questionable. We'll see. First question.
Wait, that's really unfortunate because what if David does get to phone in trivia?
I will not allow it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great,
Woof.
great.
First question.
You have to ask David questions that I would probably get right.
Yeah. What is Andrew's middle name? Okay. Leica, the camera giant, is actually a portmanteau of two words. Lights, the founder's last name, and blank.
Can we get a reaction of David listening to the question?
I didn't even hear the question because I was imagining David's face watching this like on the plane ride back, being like,
Yeah.
I know that. Like,
It's so easy. It's so easy. Everyone should know this. Okay.
you'll repeat the question
A
later, right?
portmanteau. What was that word?
A portmanteau is when you smash two words together.
I like that.
So Leica is a combination of the words lights, which is the founder's last name, and I think the name of the parent
I knew
company.
that.
His last name is
Leitz.
Lights. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
I was gonna say
And
camera
what-
action.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, that was his full name. His first name was Lights.
Lights.
Yeah.
Wait, speaking of people who have a great last name for what they do, there was I found these amusing. I don't know,
Totally.
like there's a frisbee
Like
player.
Ball being a basketball player.
Exactly,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
totally.
Eagle McMahon is a disc golf player. His first name is Eagle, actually.
Eagle.
Yeah.
Perfect. I mean, last name's even more impressive because he couldn't choose it. At the Worlds tournament that I was at, I saw a Canada jersey that said Frisbee on the back.
What?
It was his name.
No way.
No way.
Yeah, Frisby. Yeah,
That's still fire.
That's pretty sick.
that's incredible, right?
His life was chosen for him.
It was all laid out. Anyway, we'll think about the trivia stuff. That'll be the end of the episode like usual, but we'll be right back. Support for this show comes from Wix. Web agencies, you're going to like this one. I want to tell you about Wix Studio, the platform that lets agencies deliver exceptional client sites with maximum efficiency. With Wix Studio, you can build unique layouts with a revolutionary grid experience, add sparks of delight with no-code animations, or take more control with custom CSS. Native business solutions let you cater to any industry, and you can extend them even further with hundreds of APIs. Plus, the workflows just make sense, from the centralized workspace to on-canvas collaborating to reusing assets across sites. And that's not all. Find out more at wix.com/studio. Support for this podcast comes from Babbel. So the holidays are here once again, which means you might be having people over, some guests over who are not native English speakers, or maybe you're even traveling to a different country. If you want to quickly dive into learning a new language this holiday season, you might want to check out Babbel. So Babbel's over 150 experts have designed quick 10-minute lessons to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. It's about how much time we have for the holidays. So Babbel is created by actual humans for genuine interactions. Also, all of Babbel's language learning resources are centered on a conversational approach, making them user-friendly, practical, and firmly grounded in real-life scenarios. And Babbel's teaching method is built around meaningful conversations to help you learn fast and effectively. So if you're interested, here's a special limited time. It's a deal for our listeners that you get starting right now. You get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/waveform. So get 55% off at babbel.com/waveform, spelled BABBEL.com/waveform. Rules and restrictions may apply. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about this new track weapon.
What?
See what I did there?
No.
It's a camera though that you would shoot track cars with.
Oh.
Sorry, that was a stretch, but you know,
was.
It works in my head. I thought it was pretty
The
good.
stretchiest of stretches.
The Sony Alpha 9 III. It was announced this week. There was an event for it. It was earlier. It has some really cool features. Probably primary of them being that it's the world's first full-frame global shutter camera.
Yes.
Which is actually super cool and impressive.
I know very little about global shutter, so can you explain it fully? I think I have the general idea about it, but a couple examples of why it's...
Yeah, it's very useful, especially with fast-moving subjects or frames. Basically, if you think about a camera sensor being a bunch of lines of pixels, let's say you have let's just say a 50 megapixel camera. Line by line, technically the computer inside the camera to take a picture is reading all of those lines one at a time.
Like a curtain
from
going
top to
down
bottom.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not capturing everything at once. And that's usually fine because it's extremely fast and nothing's really moving fast enough for the top and the bottom of the frame to be different, unless you have a particularly fast object that's like flying through the frame, where when you scan the top half, it's in one part of the frame, and you scan the bottom half, it's in another part. It'll actually mess up the image.
Yeah.
Or there's a phenomenon called rolling shutter, where if you just like swipe back and forth, you can kind of see a little bit of a lag, a little bit of a jelly as it scans the lines from top to bottom. Okay.
It's funny because I didn't think of it in terms of video, but it still affects video. Because like video, we get that jelly effect all the time. If you like whip pan something a little too hard, it's like catching up with it.
Which technically still applies to photos. If you're shooting a track car passing by and you're whip panning really fast and you have rolling shutter come in, it'll distort your image.
And the other example I saw was like taking a photo of like a helicopter that's flying. The blades can turn into kind of like this warped U almost because they're spinning so fast.
Yeah.
It doesn't capture it all in one thing.
Yeah.
So global shutter is opening everything at once.
Global shutter is reading the entire frame at once. It takes a lot of computing power, and hence you usually don't see huge sensors able to do that. You'll see smaller sensors able to do it. This is the first full-frame global shutter camera. So even our RED cameras are all not global shutter. Actually, the one that is global shutter is a smaller sensor. I believe the Komodo is global shutter. So yeah, full frame global shutter is a big deal. And so that's going to be awesome for people basically who are looking to take advantage of that fast moving stuff. People who are shooting sports, people who are shooting helicopters, birds, cars, things like that. Fast moving stuff.
So you're saying people who might need a button that can turbo boost their camera.
This is also a feature that would be interesting to those people. Funny you mentioned that. This camera has a turbo boost button. I remember the days when a camera that could shoot like 10 frames per second was really impressive.
It's almost like video.
Yeah, you take it and you hear, and you're like, dang, 10 shots in 1 second? I could just spray and like get every single part of this moment and pick the perfect photo. And that's kind of a strategy, and like people do that.
Yeah.
Now, this photo camera can shoot 20 frames per second with a special speed boost button where in the middle of it, if you press and hold, it will shoot 120 pictures every second.
With, as long as the lens is compatible,
yes,
full continuous autofocus as well.
Yes. Pretty incredible. I guess technologically speaking, in my head, it makes sense. If you have a video camera that can shoot 120 frames per second and it's global shutter, then it should be capable of 120 photos per second. But opening and closing the shutter a whole bunch of times, getting that fast of a shutter speed, that's extra math, that's extra processing. But it does it.
I don't believe it has a physical shutter at all.
It probably just leaves it open and exposes over and over again really fast.
Yeah, what I was reading online is that it's literally just the sensor turning on and off and on and off. Like there's nothing physical,
Right.
which is also why there's no banding at high shutter speeds too.
Yeah. Up to an 80,000th of a second shutter speed.
Just
That's, I don't know what you're shooting, but that's incredible.
the noise that it makes, which I guess
favorite
is like
part.
you said, just it turning on and off. Sounds like if you had like an RC car that was broken and you just like pressed it. Did you hear the noise of it, the
No,
turbo boot
I
button
didn't.
being hit?
Maybe it does have something
You
physical.
should find the noise.
in
It's
it.
horrible.
I'll play it right now.
If anything I owned made the noise that makes, I would just immediately assume it was broken.
Here's the noise that it makes when you go turbo mode.
So I can be shooting at the speed of a 9 Mark II, which is 20 frames per second. I can be shooting at the speed of, and then I can just press that custom button to be able to go to 120 frames per second.
So what is that noise? There must be a.
So I guess the reason I thought it sounded weird because I didn't realize it was the switching between them like changes the pitch of it, and that changing of pitch is what sounded really strange to me. But it is a constant between when you separate both of them.
Now I just feel like I'm misunderstanding some part of this camera though, because that's a lot of noise for
It's a lot of noise.
for something electronic to make.
It is a lot of noise, but I don't think that's 120 noises in the second. So
Yeah, that sounds about like 120.
slow it down.
really,
Yeah,
you think that was a?
yeah, I do.
Oh,
120 hertz.
Because
I have no idea.
below 20 hertz is when your ear begins to be able to hear individual pulses.
20?
20.
Below 20?
Below 20 is when you hear dut, 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 and then above 20 is when you hear.
Okay, so you're saying I'm not hearing it, but that doesn't mean it's
I don't know.
not
Yeah.
making
it.
it.
It might be also a difference between trained ears and non-trained ears.
Also, what's making the noise? Someone let me know, please, because now I feel like I don't know anything.
That is a cool feature, though. I think that, I mean, I'll literally never use it, but the example of like someone mid-action trying to capture the exact moment that something happens, like lighting a match or, I don't know, something compressing over time or whatever.
I
It's
totally
super cool.
get it. I personally think the hockey example they used was bad because it didn't seem like anything was that minusculely different between them. But when I brought the A7R out to Yellowstone and the Tetons, like some of the birds I was shooting, I saw them and they would take flight and I go like, and I'd be like, I definitely got a sweet shot, and then scroll through all of them and be like,
You have
none.
120 out of focus shots.
Not even 100, not 120 because it's far less than that. And they were in focus, but just like none of them were like the perfect wingspan or like everything matching up perfectly. Every
like
time I
a
was like, I wish his head was looking this way and his wing was in this position from different ones.
You need either this camera or Google's Magic Editor to reposition things in the picture for you. You know,
It's clearly the camera's fault and not mine.
it's the bird's fault.
So that's why I need 120 frames.
Also, side note, I don't think I've ever heard a hummingbird in person until last week. Have you ever heard a hummingbird flying?
I've definitely seen them, but I don't know if I can specifically
Have you?
think of the noise. Well, under 20 hertz, you can't actually hear the.
No, you hear it. You just hear the individual
The individual beats.
pulses.
I didn't see it at first, so I thought I was being attacked by a giant wasp.
Oh, it was that
It
close to your
sounds,
head?
yeah, it like flies by you and it's like, woo, and it sounded like a wasp. That's a horrible impression, but like it sounds like a bug because it's beating its wings so fast. I
That
just thought
is-
that was worth sharing.
That's interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
this camera would be a great camera to take a photo of a hummingbird.
That's a fact. That's
If you
a lot
could
of
mute
frames.
that loud sound, though.
Yeah, you might scare it off.
Yeah, animals don't like that.
Yeah. Well, you need
a great
the
example.
super telephoto lens also, so you're
True,
like kind of
true.
far away,
Yeah.
can't hear you. Then you get all
Why
your
was that
shots.
not the example? Why was a hummingbird not the example? Why was it a
should've
hockey player? Listen, I love
I think
hockey, but
people
that was a
think
bad
hockey's-
example.
Hockey's pretty fast moving. I mean, the shot that they showed in the video was just a guy shooting a puck, but they should have done something crazier, like someone checking someone in the glass or something. That would have been cool.
Someone's
the glass
teeth,
shattering,
someone's teeth falling
someone's
out.
teeth leaving their mouth in slow motion. That would have been cool. But they went with a pretty vanilla example. Anyway, it's a $6,000 camera. It's coming out spring of next year. If you're interested, we'll also leave a link to Sony's A9 Mark III.
If you want a camera with NOS, that's your
Basically.
camera.
Yeah. I'm impressed. Pixel 3.
Yeah.
Pixel Watch 3. Oh, I didn't even know. What's going on with Pixel Watch 3?
Wait, what did you think it was going to be about with the Pixel 3?
I was like, what happened to Pixel 3? Did it just get CyanogenMod again? What's going on?
No,
Pixel
okay.
Watch 3.
Sorry. Pixel Watch 3. Yeah, we did just review Pixel Watch 2.
Yeah.
But there was an article out the other day because of a patent filing that looks like a potential for a future Pixel Watch, possibly having a touch-sensitive bezel on the outside.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Nothing.
A lot.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. One, because we just did see the Pixel Watch 2, but this looks like kind of an in-between of... Well, one, I'm confused because I don't see the digital crown in the photo of the patent anymore, but maybe that's just missing there.
Just a patent. I think they'd probably not put it in the patent.
The crowns... I liked the crown personally. It's not as good as the Apple Watch crown, but when I was using the Pixel Watch for a little bit, I enjoyed the crown. And I think you can have both here. Because this kind of reminds me of the touch version of the Galaxy Watch Classic, which has the physical bezel that you can spin. Now, the reason I like that better, though, on the Galaxy Watch is because that also acts as kind of like a buffer between your screen and surfaces. And I think that's super important. And I think the Pixel Watch couldn't do that because of the way it's shaped, but also because of the way it's shaped, I would want protection on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it says sensors could respond to press, tap, squeeze, and swipe gestures, and then could potentially have use for specific apps, depending on what you're inside of.
It's interesting. I guess I have a couple of things that come to my mind when I see this. One is it's a patent, so I don't know that means Pixel Watch 3 as much as it's just like, hey, Google had an idea.
Bro, this is the podcast. This is the speculation.
I mean,
it's 100% confirmed for the Pixel Watch 3.
If it goes from patent to confirmed in a product in 9 months, that would be so dope. But you know how these timelines are, so that's why I'm just throwing that out there.
Listen, we're getting close to the end of the year. We got to take whatever news articles we can get.
We'll have the headline of the podcast. We'll happily go crazy.
Brand new Pixel Watch 3.
But then number 2,
we have it.
What was the last Pixel you could squeeze? This must have been
4, right?
I think the 4.
I don't think the 5 had it, and then I don't think
right.
they brought it back.
The squeeze feature was interesting, and they got rid of it for a reason, but the squeeze feature to activate the assistant was decently useful.
I loved it.
It was not as sensitive as potentially having a bunch of extra like swipe functions or tapping functions. It was mainly just like squeeze it hard enough and you get the assistant quickly. Very like rudimentary sensor and frame type stuff.
That's a good point. On my old Garmin, I think it was the Vivo Active 3, it had a place where you could swipe on the side. And if that happened to be on my wrist near the top of my hand, if I reached back far enough, it could activate it and wind up moving things around.
Exactly. That was going to be my third thing, which is the physical bezel on the Galaxy Watches is like ideal for me because I do the accidental button press all the time. I've actually looked down at my Apple Watch and I was like about to call emergency services because my wrist or my hand was pressing the action button or whatever the dial for too long. So this seems like potential for accidental presses would be very high.
Now all I can think about is the squeeze feature on the Pixel and how much I miss it.
It was pretty sweet.
I loved that.
But they got rid of it for a reason, which is probably not a lot of people use it, and it was costing extra money, and they decided it wasn't worth it.
But I used it.
That's very true. I actually use it too.
I don't even use a Pixel anymore. But
yeah, now it's a swipe. Do you use a swipe up from the corner now?
So what I used to use it for all the time was when it's cold out and I would wear gloves and I wanted to like most of the time it was like telling Claire I was on my way home, that I'm leaving work, walk outside, squeeze, text Claire I'm on my way home.
Super useful.
Perfect.
Yeah. You can hold the power button to do assistant now. On the Zen, you have a Zen phone?
Yes.
Hold power button. Power button is assistant. I think you can map actually holding power button, double tapping power button, and maybe even triple tapping.
Oh, no, it can't do that because its fingerprint is there and it just automatically brings me into...
But if you're wearing gloves...
Wait,
go into the power, go into your settings.
Well, yeah, I can just use a different finger. No.
Yeah, I think you have
I
that
can
now.
change
But if
it?
you can activate that in the settings. You can go to turn on power button long press. Because this is what I did. I think I had double press for camera and long press for assistant on my Zen phone.
I'll let you do this. You're the master. You're the master of my phone.
Smart key, that's what it's called. They call it smart key. So you can long press, change that to wake up Google Assistant. Or voice
what did we take?
input.
What did we take away from here?
It was your power menu, because when you hold it, it was.
But I
your
can still
power
turn it
menu.
off from just that. Okay, cool.
Or or from your or your swipe down. So there you go. You can still do the same thing. It's just a smaller target. Instead of squeezing the whole phone, it's just the button.
All right.
Yeah.
Wasn't happy about that, but
So I see this feature. It's kind of cool. I wonder how much of it they plan to implement in a future product, but I do think seeing it in a patent application looks like Google had an idea.
yeah, I feel like it hopefully would make sense. Although the thing I would like about the Pixel Watch, a new one the most, is to get rid of the giant bezel that kind of just folds over. Like if the Pixel Watch could have the screen really like moving into the folding sides, it would look so good. I think it already does look good. So I guess rather than eliminating the bezel, they're trying to make use for it, which is a good option. But I would rather see that like be a full domed sweet screen.
I don't think the hardware is the issue with the Pixel Watch.
For this feature?
Yeah.
I think battery a little bit is, but I think the battery in every smartwatch, except for Garmin, is horrible.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that was... I might be wrong about this as far as how late they used it, but I think it was literally just a sensor inside of the metal frame where when you squeeze it, you're physically bending something to move inside the phone.
Yeah, that's how
With
it
the
worked.
phone.
Yeah.
It was from HTC. Remember?
That was the HTC way?
Yeah.
So you didn't need extra battery or processing. It was just a new button on the phone. It was just in the phone.
Yeah, it was like another sensor.
Yeah.
But I mean, just in general, the Pixel Watch, I don't think the reason... Like, I don't think...
The hardware and how it looks
is the issue. Like,
It's
I
just
think
Oh,
it
software.
in
looks great.
general
Yeah, in
with the
general.
watch?
general.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally agreed. It's one of the best things about the watch. Yeah, there's bigger fish to fry with the Pixel Watch. But I still think it's pretty good as is. I just cool. I was going to say, do you remember the Moto 360?
with the flat tire.
Still one of my favorite looking smartwatches ever.
I think it's one of the best examples that nostalgia doesn't always sell because they tried to make 2 more of those and no one gave a damn about them
But
at
they
all.
didn't go OG thin bezel aesthetic because I really don't mind the flat tire.
It's not the worst.
Look at this
It
thing.
clearly could be
That's-
so much better. Well, because it looks like a watch.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's
Which is what
it's
everyone
very
wants.
funny to me seeing you look at this and be like, "This looks so good," and wearing a square Apple Watch on your wrist.
Oh, I've never said the Ultra was good looking. I really don't like the way the Apple Watch Ultra looks anymore. It's
Really?
just the battery life is so much better than the others I've used.
I think the Apple Watch Ultra is the best looking Apple Watch. I think it looks fantastic.
The best looking Apple Watch.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's not as good looking as a Galaxy Watch
or a Garmin
or
Epix Gen 2.
a Moto 360. That's a good looking
Kevin
watch.
O'Leary would wear that.
I think he would. I think he's
I'm
got
just
the...
kidding.
No, he would never wear this. But all that to say, the patent application is interesting, and we'll keep an eye on it for Pixel Watch of the future.
Confirmed.
Let's take a quick break, and let's do some trivia.
All right, welcome back to the David Hour of Trivia. Our next question, longtime listeners of the show will certainly know. David famously worked in the server center of what tech company?
You don't remember.
Oh,
The minute you said worked, I knew what the answer
I
to this
think I
one
know.
was.
I think I remember.
We'll be back after the break.
Support for this show comes from Wix. Web agencies, you're going to like this one. Let me tell you about Wix Studio, the platform that gives agencies total creative freedom to deliver complex client sites while still smashing deadlines. How? First, let me tell you about the advanced design capabilities. So, with Wix Studio, you can build unique layouts with a revolutionary grid experience and watch as elements scale proportionally by default. No-code animations add sparks of delight, while custom CSS gives total design control. But it doesn't stop there. Bring ambitious client projects to life in any industry with a fully integrated suite of business solutions from e-com to events, bookings, and more, and extend the capabilities even further with hundreds of API integrations. And you know what else? The workflows just make sense. There's the built-in AI tools, the centralized workspace, the on-canvas collaborating, the reusing of assets across sites, and the seamless client handover. And that's not all. Find out more at wix.com/studio. Support for this show comes from Gigabyte. So this one's for all the hardcore gamers out there. I'm talking to the folks with ergonomic chairs, serious headsets, and chronic carpal tunnel. The lifers. So the people playing on their PCs, their consoles, or even streaming, you can have all the best equipment out there, but if you're not gaming in 4K, you're missing out on a world of color, depth, and razor-sharp resolution, of course. So if you want to upgrade your monitor, Gigabyte has you covered. Gigabyte's 4K monitors were designed and built with serious gaming in mind. Their decades of experience and high-quality controls mean their monitors deliver perfect balance between viewing angle and distance, and the Gigabyte 4K monitor lineup all come with exclusive tactical features such as the Black Equalizer 2.0, Aim Stabilizer, and OSD Sidekick. They got a variety of models to choose from, and the sizes range from 27-inch to 55-inch according to your needs. And each monitor features up to 4K 120Hz for higher refresh rates, HDMI 2.1, and super speed IPS/VA panels to ensure a smooth gaming experience when paired with the new gen consoles or desktop gaming PCs. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Real gamers know that you can talk details all day, but you have to see it to believe it. You can read up on all the tech specs and get a real sense of what the Gigabyte 4K might be able to do for your gaming setup by visiting their site. So to get your Gigabyte 4K monitor, go to aorus.com/monitors/4K. So that's Aorus, AORUS.com/monitors/4K. Play 4K. Play for win. Support for Waveform comes from Netsuite. So businesses can't afford to fall behind. So it's a big problem when teams get buried in manual busy work. It's a big problem when it takes forever to close the books, for example. It's a big problem when you don't have a single reliable source of truth. If that sounds like you should know these three numbers: 36,000, 25, 1. So 36,000, that's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle. Then that number makes it the #1 cloud financial system, perfect for streamlining your company's accounting, financial management, inventory, HR, and more. And 25, NetSuite turns 25 this year. So that's 25 years of helping businesses do more with less, close their books in days, not weeks, and drive down costs. 1, because your business is one of a kind, so you get a customized solution for all of your KPIs in one efficient system with one source of truth. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve your margins. Everything you need all in one place. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist designed to give you consistently excellent performance, absolutely free, at netsuite.com/waveform. That's netsuite.com/waveform to get your own KPI checklist, netsuite.com/waveform.
Welcome back. We have a new YouTube feature, which...
I'm excited for that.
Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay.
Whoops.
Calm your excitement.
Oh.
I just thought it was funny. It's called the Play Something button, and it basically, remember we talked about Stumble Upon a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Do you remember what Stumble Upon was?
Is that where it would just take you to a random website?
Yeah. So imagine you're on YouTube and you're scrolling through your homepage. This is how it works. And you get an option that's just like, can't decide what you want to watch? Try to discover a new video. And then there's just a button that says Play Something. And it just picks a video for you to watch. So you don't have to make the choice.
Interesting.
Now, I know you have questions, and I don't think I have answers.
We'll try. First question. This could be a video or a short?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't think of that either.
Second question. This could be...
It would be rough if it's a short. If you're so desperate to see a video that you're willing for it to, and then it gives you like 60 seconds
6-second video.
It's unclear. It could also go to full-length videos.
Okay. So here's, I'm an iPad kid. I fully admit it.
Okay.
If I'm home alone and I make food, it will sit and get cold while I find a video to watch. I will not start the plate until something is playing, and that takes a very long time.
I'm
sometimes.
guilty.
100% guilty,
Yeah.
will admit.
What is the difference between the shorts button and this button functionally?
Shorts-
If they both open up a random short?
Well, it sounds like it does open up full length.
It does also open up a full-length video.
Okay.
It shouldn't open up a short at all.
Yeah, because that's
I don't think
already
it should.
what they-
Yeah.
No one, the amount of times that I've searched for a YouTube short. No, but that's not even what you're doing. The amount of times that I've been like, I want to watch a short about dominoes, and then I type dominoes short. It's like, that's literally, no one's ever done that.
It is funny that when you search for a topic on YouTube, you do get regular videos and shorts about that topic. So if you...
I don't mind that, actually.
Like, I've watched a bunch of like reviews about a product and I run out. I will start watching the shorts about it too.
My girlfriend and I do actually do this for shorts of talking birds. So yeah, actually I
Well,
lied just then.
I was going to say, though, but me enjoying that coming up doesn't like mean I don't disagree with you, because it just means sometimes what I'm searching can be accomplished in a short. I was looking up the other day how to lube a keyboard switch, and a short came up, and I was like, well, I'm just going to watch the short because it has to get right into doing it rather than 20 minutes of, which is probably also good information. But right then I just really quickly wanted to try and figure it out. So coming up in search as an option, I think great. But going back to this button, my question is, how much of your personal algorithm is this including into it? I have to assume it's got to be something.
No way it's fully random.
Because if it's fully random and I'm like, oh, I just made myself a sweet plate of chicken nuggets. Let's watch some, and then I get the like how to fix your sink drain or like a tutorial of like how to fix something on your
like
house.
A 13-year-old news story about something you don't care about.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to imagine, but in the article that I read, I didn't see exactly what it's gonna play. But then also, if it's referencing just your algorithm, is it like going a little outside the box? Like Spotify DJ does take into account what you're listening to, but try and push you in a different direction a little bit.
Tries to keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
I feel like this
Says
is
it a
just going to pick one of the like 8 that's in your top recommended
It's
videos.
just gonna show Mr. Beast videos.
It's just going to shuffle what was on your homepage anyway, maybe.
Pretty much.
That's wild. It's like I'm feeling lucky for videos.
Yeah, I don't know. So apparently Netflix had this a few years ago and I didn't even know, which makes sense because there's been so many times. I remember being in college and a bunch of us would like get together and be like, oh yeah, let's just throw a movie on before the end of the night. And then like an hour and a half later, we're like, let's just go to bed. We still haven't picked anything.
Know what you're gonna watch.
Yeah. But I didn't even know it was on Netflix. So it's one of those things I feel like sounds like a great idea and then no one uses and Google will scrap it in 6 months.
We should make a bet on that. How long will this watch something feature last on YouTube? Over or under 6 months?
So first it has to fully make it. I don't think it's fully available yet.
Will it even make it that far?
Those are two very different questions.
Sure. That's fair.
I think it will make it through. I think it'll be gone by June.
I agree with you.
There's a right way to do this feature, in my opinion. And the right way to do it is to parody a website called Forgotify.com.
Okay.
And Forgotify.com pulls up a random song on Spotify that has 0 plays.
Whoa.
So you are inherently the first person to listen to that song on Spotify. We're talking 0. We're talking not even this person's mom listened to this. We're talking not even this person listened to their own music on Spotify.
I have a problem with the name
Why?
because I get it, but when I think forgot, I think something that has been heard and then forgotten about.
True.
So 0 views means no one can forget about something they've never heard before, except for maybe the person who uploaded it forgot they uploaded it. And
I assume that if no one listens to it, what's stopping it from being forgotten?
fair.
Anyway, but the YouTube version of this would be killer. Think about all the insane stuff there is on YouTube that has 0. And also think about the fact that when something has 0 views, the algorithm will never serve it to you.
That needs to be the I'm feeling lucky button.
So a couple interesting things in there. First, the way I'm explained the YouTube algorithm by YouTube, it will show you stuff with 0 views.
Really? Okay.
It just doesn't necessarily know who to serve it to. It's going to try.
Mariah gets a lot of really low view videos for some
and lots
reason.
of low view videos get showed, but also like it might serve it to a bunch of people and nobody clicks it because the thumbnail is horrible and it still has 0 views. So maybe it tried. The other thing is there is so much risky stuff on YouTube with 0 views that YouTube could not make that the feature. They couldn't do it. They like their safe, lots of views, well-reviewed content. And if they were to just just have a button on the site, just send me to something that no one has ever seen before, that's pretty risky. So I think that might get YouTube in some trouble. So they probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but I still love it.
But we'd still love it.
Yeah. I agree, Alice. That should be one.
I disagree.
Someone build it.
I think it should be truly freaking random.
Totally random.
Totally random. Any video on YouTube, even if it's a 13-year-old news.
Totally random,
that's
and you
fine.
have to watch the entire thing before you watch any other video.
I would like them to combine the truly random feature with the feature that used to tell you other people who are watching the video at the same time as you. Because if you got served something truly random with like 6 views from 2017, and then you see that someone else also
watching
arrives
it.
on the same video somehow by some other random pathway through the internet, special moment.
It really feels like you want live chat on video on demand videos on YouTube.
No, I just like the mystique of seeing like a profile picture and a username and being like, I don't know how you got here.
You don't want to communicate. You just want to see they're there.
I just want to see they're there.
You just want to give them the little nod in the grocery store, the little head tilt. Yeah.
Like in Google Docs or something where it's like anonymous lizard. Or
like someone else is here, and I can feel that. I can feel that. We're on the same place on this very small internet together.
You could probably just make like a Chrome extension that fakes that.
But then everyone in the world would have to use the Chrome extension, which is tough. But yeah,
Fair.
I like that. I like that feature idea.
All right, one more thing. And this is something I wanted to talk about a few weeks ago, but we got really busy and now it's officially out. But Spotify for premium subscribers is offering 15 hours of free audiobook listening per month.
Nice.
I think that's awesome. I think that's
awesome.
really cool.
As someone who has been trying to read more, and I'm putting that in air quotes because it's audiobooks.
Yeah, someone who's trying to have people read to them more.
Yes.
Yes.
15 hours is surprisingly short.
That's what I originally said, but as someone who doesn't put forth the effort to actually listen to audiobooks, I don't think I have the right to complain about it. And also, I guess if I'm listening to more than 15 hours a month, I deserve to be paying for it, probably.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Which I guess I already am paying for Spotify Premium. So do you know how much it is to get like unlimited?
Oh, like to just have a spot. Oh, I don't know
Does
if they have
Spotify do?
No, I don't think they do unlimited audiobooks as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
you
books
get
you
the
still buy
15
separate.
hours. And then if you pass that 15 hours, you can pay for an extra 10 hours or you could just buy the book.
Yeah.
Oh, you buy the book.
Like audiobooks are like one-time purchases. So
But
they're
now with
going to
stuff-
give you
I guess
15
I'm thinking
hours
of, like,
of preview.
Audible.
Audible
and things like
has
that.
something where you pay for the subscription and you basically get one free credit a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like a free book. So it's kind of the same thing. You get a free audiobook per month.
The way I was thinking of it, the reason 15 hours feels low is because if I have a 1 hour commute, which I do, unfortunately, but that's my fault, then I'm in the car for 2 hours a day. So that's
A week.
7 days, essentially, of commuting if I listen to it straight through like that, which doesn't seem like a lot.
It'd be
in a
rough
month.
if you got like a 17-hour book.
Yeah, and listen to it at the beginning of the month rather than the end. I think I finally will start actually listening to some damn audiobooks through this. To be fair, if you're in the US, most public libraries that you can sign up for free have audiobooks that you can do. To be fair, sometimes they're annoying because they only have X amount of copies and you need to be put on a wait list for them, and then you have X amount of time to finish it. And also, I think most library cards, you have to like go to the library and get your library card to be part of that. I've tried to do it a few times and I'm too lazy. But so this is nice for me, the lazy man. But if you really want to listen to a book for free, there's generally ways you can do it through a public library.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's all our stories for this week. Pretty quick, pretty short one.
Yeah.
But also some fun stuff in there. And
I mean, we got to see the Pixel Watch 3 though.
got to see a car drive backwards at 170 miles an hour. I think that's a pretty successful week.
Are you going to go watch that video during lunch when we're done with
I
this?
might have it up in another tab already, ready to go. That being said, we should definitely get to the David trivia answers. Sorry, David. Trivia time.
All right, trivia time. So, quick update on the score. Marques with 12, Andrew with 10, David with 1, 2, carry the 1, 12.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
But you got me on that.
First question. Leica, the camera giant, is actually a portmanteau of two words. Lights, the founder's last name, and blank. What is the other word that makes up the name Leica? David is yelling at his phone right now.
Hey, David. Have a safe flight back. See you soon.
I'm going to feel bad when I get this wrong.
Flip him and read. What'd you say?
I thought you'd be right. So I changed my answer and one of us is right. I said camera. Oh, sorry.
No.
Capture.
I said camera.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yep.
Let's go. Wait, so
Yeah,
you guys did a very good job at holding your face when I made the joke camera action
camera
earlier.
I wrote down camera. I was like, nah, too easy. Erased it and wrote capture. Good job, Marquez. Okay. That's fine. I can take that L.
Next question.
What company did David work in the server center of?
Oh, I think I know.
I said it first. Wait, what? You're
Marques
erasing?
furiously erasing his answer right now, second guessing himself. What's he going to put? Watching him write. He's running out of time.
What was that?
My answer.
I've never seen anything like that before.
I'm confused. He just made a giant circle a bunch of times. So you were circling your answer. Flip it. Okay, we both said Intel.
And you're both right.
Nice. What did you erase?
I was trying to. So I think we both knew it immediately. And I watched you write Intel. And when I saw you wrote the EL, I was like, I could tell too easily what you wrote. So I was like, let me write something that's obviously wrong. And I just wrote a bunch of letters. And I was just wanted to see your reaction. And you were just like, that's wrong.
I was just happy that I got 2 points this week.
And then
I wasn't thinking that deeply.
and then but I had already written Intel, so I just circled it.
Oh, okay.
That was fun. It was hard to erase.
Nice.
You caught up with David. Now you both have 12.
Who, me and David? Wow.
Oh, nice.
David. That's 2 bleeps this episode.
David, I'm so sorry.
But also we're not.
No, I think you need to think of 2 Andrew questions for him.
Oh, you have no idea.
No, I think I have.
Andrew questions for David?
We have way more than two.
No, I
Andrew
know.
questions.
What is
I
the
forgot about
first
that. Yeah.
item on the Taco Bell menu, top left corner. Go. I'm shocked this is taking so long.
The obvious answer is just the taco meal.
Well, anyway, that's basically it for this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for making this possible. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for clicking those links. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being here. Catch you in the next one. Peace.
Is that like an NPC stream? I liked that. Repeat it next week. Waveform is produced by Adam Molina and Ellis Rovin. We're partnered with our... Waveform is produced by Adam Molina and Ellis Rovin. We're partnered with the Vox Media Podcast Network, and our outro music was created by Vane Sill.
I do want someone to blind test me so I can prove that I definitely can see the difference between 60, 90, and 120.
I think you could do it if it was on the phone that you're used to every day. I think if you were... The best way to... I think the easiest way to test it would be on a computer. And I think that's out of your...
I'm doing
scrolling, so it would have to be 3 different phones.
I think 60 and 120 you could tell. 90 is the one that I think
tell.
is tough.
I can tell.
There's a phone, a singular phone you can...
Set to 60, 90, or 120?
Right?
Yep. Yeah, you can do RG, you could do Zen.
That could be a short. That could be a studio short.
Yeah. Because I get so many comments of people like, you can't tell the difference. I can't tell. Nobody can tell. It's like, bro, it's extremely obvious. Set your iPhone to 60, it looks horrible.